Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Coach's Corner, another basketball preview. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and we are talking to Michael Brown, the head coach of the West Branch boys basketball program. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys for having us on. And, I've really enjoyed, listening to some of you guys' previews, as basketball coaches in the area. I know a lot of us talk, with one another, trying to get an idea of where everyone's at. And it's kind of nice to stay connected through social media, and you guys have done a really good job up to this point. So thanks for having me on.
Coach, we always like to start off these with a meet the team session, but we know a lot of the teams kind of tied up with other things right now on their state championship run in football. But looking at this team, though, what you presume to come back, it was a very successful team, back-to-back EBC champs in a very, very tough conference. Talk to me a little bit about what this team is bringing back, as I believe you said 7 returning lettermen.
Yeah, it is nice. This is our third year here at West Branch now. And it's nice having some of that experience. We return Drew DeShields, who is currently our starting quarterback here at West Branch, having a great football season. He averaged 13 points a game, 5 rebounds a game last year as a sophomore. Really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do on the basketball court this season. Jackson Hendershot, another really good player for the football team right now. He was an All-Ohio player for us last year as a junior, and he had a really solid season for us. He averaged 14 and a half points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's actually he's getting quite a few looks at the college level right now. I know the top 3 teams in the pack are looking at him between Geneva, Grove City, and Westminster, where one of our players, Reese Leone, currently goes. All 3 of those schools are giving him a real good look. So, we're expecting big things from him as well. We returned Nick Wilson, who's going to be a senior. He's been a 3-year letter winner for us as well. Unfortunately, Jed Smith did tear his ACL in the football season, and we had a situation like this with Nick Scarpetti a couple years ago, where he tore his ACL, was able to come back. However, we're not putting pressure on Jed to rush that. Obviously, a pretty serious injury, but we're going to return his ability to communicate with some of our younger guys and just be there for the team in general. So, really excited about what we have, returning. And then obviously we'll have some other guys that we got to piece in from those 6 seniors that we lost last year.
I really enjoy the third year of a coaching regime, and it's your third year at West Branch, because it's kind of the year that you get to really see how the kids that you've started with really are developing, because now the kids that were freshmen are now juniors, and the kids that were sophomores are now seniors. How much of your philosophy and your culture do you think this program has really latched onto now that you're going into your third year?
Yeah, it is nice to have some continuity there. We have a varsity coaching staff that does a really good job, a coaching staff that I know that I can trust. We've got Bill Edens, who he actually was one of my coaches at Louisville when I played there for Tom Siegfried. He was a head coach back in the day. He actually, in 2000, they went 20-0. And it was a really big deal. And back in, Louisville, everybody knows the Edens name. So it was a pleasant surprise kind of when we got Billy on staff over here. And then my dad, Bob Brown, who had coached me growing up, is part of the varsity staff as well. And then Mike Kelly, who I played with at Louisville, is also on the staff. So, 3 guys that I grew up with, 3 guys that I knew really well. So from a coaching staff standpoint, it's been very nice. This year we'll have Brad Smith as the JV coach, who's a really good player here at West Branch. That's actually Jed's father. So the kids are connected with him. They know him real well. And then John Hancock will be our freshman coach, who's a familiar name here at West Branch. He was a varsity head coach back in the day. So I'm very thankful just for the fact that we have coaches that are experienced. They can anticipate things that I might not be able to, already having that varsity experience. So we have a really good combination, a unique combination here at West Branch of, some younger coaches and then coaches that have that experience. I think that's gelled really well in the first few years. And, we're hoping that year 3, we can take that next step, both in season and in the postseason.
Coach, there's no doubt too when we look at the success that you guys have had to 750 winning percentage to, and attribute that to a lot of the guys that have been there through the course of these years. You didn't shy away from competition in this schedule. Again, I mean, obviously we know the EBC is tough on its own too, but I mean,
right.
We see South Range is on there. We see Ravenna. We see Canfield. We see a lot of these other teams. Talk to me about the schedule and how you think it's going to help this team get prepared for the tournament.
Yeah, fortunately, in the last 2 years, we have played a tougher schedule. Last year we had to play against Boardman. That it's a really good bar to see where you're at when you play against teams like that. We had to play Ursuline last year. We've played Canfield for 2 years now. All really well-coached teams from the Youngstown area. We're adding North Canton Hoover to the schedule this year. Anytime you play a Federal League team, you have your hands full, so it's going to be a challenging non-league schedule, but in league, we were looking at what the league returns. 5 of the 7 teams in the EBC this year are going to return 3 or more starters. So although it was highly competitive last year, now the league is going to be equally competitive, but far more experienced. Those lights keep turning out on me. Got to do some movement. So yeah, the team as a whole is going to be prepared, for a gauntlet in the EBC schedule, but it's going to be important for us to show up all 22 games. And come prepared, because the schedule is it's going to be tough, and we've got the kids that are up for it. As you can see, we share athletes here at West Branch. I think that's part of the reason that we've been so successful here in the recent years, is that our coaching staffs do a really good job of communicating with each other. Ricky Mullinex, the baseball coach, and Coach Harris, the football coach. All 3 of us, I think we gel really well together. We share our athletes, and we support each other. Our basketball staff, me in particular, we haven't missed a football game yet. So we support our guys on Friday nights. We'll be there tonight supporting them. I think that goes a long way. I think the kids understand, that we care about them, outside of just our own sport or our individual classroom. And, that really helps.
Standard of excellence at West Branch seems to be second to none. You look at the volleyball team, they had a successful season. You look at football, they're still in the playoffs. You look at, both basketball programs, we all know what they're about. Baseball, softball. What is it about West Branch, from your perspective, that raises the standard of excellence to such a high point?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. We live in a community here where, the parents, the families, the kids, they all really care about sports, and they want to compete. And, I think that our coaching staffs, do a really good job of putting that extra time in. Our kids do a great job of putting that extra time in. We have 8 or 9 kids right now that show up before school, and we're getting shots up in the morning, at like 6:30. And that's pretty rare in today's society. I would say that you have kids that are willing to reach out to you as a coaching staff and want to be able to put that work in. And you see that across the board. You see that on the soccer team. You see that in the West Branch girls basketball program. You see it in volleyball. They had a great season. I mean, you can go right down the line obviously the football team, and the success that they've had, the softball team. You can basically name any team, any coaching staff here at West Branch, and they're having success. And I think it comes down to, the simple things of, just working hard, staying together, and competing as a team. And, oftentimes, success breeds success. And I think that's the case here.
Coach, there's no doubt that this is going to be a fun team to watch. I think exciting on all fronts, and the players that you're returning and even the success that they're having right now on the football field. But if there's anybody that's kind of hesitant to coming out to watch a West Branch game, what's the sales pitch to come out and catch this boys team this year?
Yeah, I think if you've watched our football team, a lot of the skill guys on the football team are the guys that are impact players on our basketball team. We've got speed, we've got some athleticism, we've got the ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter. Jackson Hendershot last year made 73 threes in the season at 42%. With a volume like that, that's a really high percentage. And it makes it fun to watch when you've got a team that's capable of getting up and down the floor. We can throw a lot of different defenses at you. And, between the press, our man-to-man, which is our bread and butter, and then we'll mix up some zone here and there. But, this team is fun to watch because they're so unselfish, and you see that from the top down, with Drew DeShields and Jackson Hendershot, Nick Wilson, Jed Smith, all those upperclassmen. They do such a good job of sharing the football on the football field. They do such a good job of sharing the rock here on the basketball court at West Branch. So an understanding, especially in boys sports, sometimes there's an ego that gets involved there. You don't see that, with the teams that we have here right now, which is really nice. It's pretty rare. Nobody cares really who gets the accolades. They're so focused on winning that the rest kind of take care of itself. And you hear coaches talk about that a lot. But for kids to be mature enough to fully understand that and grasp that is huge. And I think that's a big part of why you would want to come and watch us play this year.
We'll just have the one more about the community of West Branch. They travel so well. What's it going to be like to be able to feed off that crowd that you weren't able to last year?
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Our announcer for the football games is the same announcer that we have for basketball games. His name's Chuck Feelick. He does a heck of a job. He gets the crowd involved. Obviously, you want to have a winning product that's going to help that. But it does certainly make a difference, when you have a community that supports you, on the road or at home. And in the last few years with the first year that we were here, we saw some really great crowds. You felt bad for the kids last year because, with another good season, we were anticipating what would have been, a really good audience. So we're looking forward to that. I think the kids really look forward to that this season in football. And we can't wait for the basketball turnout as well. So, really happy for everybody that's involved. The environment in the hallways right now, just the vibe and the morale is very high here at West Branch. It starts with the leaders, but it shows you that we've got great parents. Parents that are involved, not only academically but in their lives outside of school. So it goes a long way. There's a lot of moving parts to successful programs. And, there's no doubt that every single person plays a role.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today to help us preview the West Branch boys basketball season. We look forward to covering you all year, and we look forward to also talking to you again real soon.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on.